Welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
Today we are looking at day 1 of our article, Turning Fear into Opportunity, Sebastian Stan.
Yes, okay. So we're kind of looking at this actor and seeing what kind of led him to the roles that he's famous for and all of that kind of stuff. And I have to say, when I read this title, I realized I had no idea who this actor is. Now, that's not saying very much because I don't really watch movies anymore, but apparently he is very famous and he's been in some really kind of amazing roles, and especially something that you guys probably have seen him in, which is one of the Marvel movies.
Well, not just one of the Marvel movies, he's actually in many of the Marvel movies because he plays Bucky Barnes, who is Captain America's best friend.
Oh, okay.
And he's also just another Marvel superhero because he's got a metal arm and he can help to fight the bad guys.
I was gonna say, does he have any powers or anything? Because again, I don't know. I know there are a lot of Marvel movies. I don't know very much about them. I have heard of Captain America though. Have not heard of Bucky, the other guy.
Bucky Barnes or the
okay.
Winter Soldier, as he's also known.
Oh, wait. Okay, I have heard the name Winter Soldier. Okay, now it's starting to click a little bit. Okay, so this guy has been in some pretty big roles then.
He's had some very big roles, and I have seen him in these Marvel movies, but to be honest, I didn't know his name until coming across this article, but now I know who he is because I've seen him in those big roles, and I've also seen that he's been in some other really big movies.
Good. Well, okay, then let's go ahead and get into our article and see and kind of find out a little bit more about who is Sebastian Stan.
From coastal Constanza to Hollywood's heights, Sebastian Stan's journey from immigrant teen to international star is as interesting as the characters he brings to life on screen. Stan was born on August 13, 1982 in Constanța, Romania, and he grew up surrounded by the arts thanks to his mother, a professional piano player. Following Romania's 1989 revolution, he moved to Vienna at age 8 and then to New York at 12. At first, fitting into American life was difficult. Stan even considered changing his name to sound more American. However, looking back, he says these experiences helped shape his resilience and drive.
Okay, so we are going to look at day 1 of our article, and it says Turning Fear into Opportunity, Sebastian Stan. So we can kind of get to know who is this actor and where does he come from and what is he known for?
Well, let's find out. From coastal Constanza to Hollywood's heights, Sebastian Stan's journey from immigrant teen to international star is as interesting as the characters he brings to life on screen. All right, we have a word here which is immigrant. So Sebastian Stan was an immigrant teen. An immigrant is someone who comes from another country to live in a country permanently. So immigrant is someone who comes from another country, and there's another word for someone who leaves a country, which is emigrant, which begins with an E. So Sebastian Stan came from another country to live in America. We have an example sentence, Canada welcomes immigrants from around the world.
Okay, and if we continue on, we get to know a little bit more about Stan. So it says, Stan was born on August 13th, 1982 in Constanța, Romania. And he grew up surrounded by the arts thanks to his mother, a professional piano player. So he kind of had this arts and theater and all that kind of stuff around him as he is growing up. It's not like he just randomly decided that he was interested in arts. His mom was actually a professional piano player. And the word professional just means that you are paid to do something. So if you wanted to be a soccer player, but you weren't that good, but you were kind of good, then you might be an amateur soccer player who doesn't kind of get to the highest level, doesn't get to the level that gets paid a whole bunch of money. So you're not quite a professional, you're an amateur. Or if you are even kind of lower than that and you just play for fun, then you might be somebody who just enjoys it as a hobby. So you can attach this word to kind of anything that you might be interested in, like a professional piano player, a professional basketball player, a professional photographer, anything like that. If you are at the highest level and being paid for what you are doing, then you are a professional. So we have our example sentence. It says, Elena is a professional photographer. So she actually gets paid to take pictures, and so she is a professional photographer.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这次要介绍的人物是 Sebastian Stan， 塞巴斯汀·史坦，也就是饰演漫威电影酷寒战士的那一位演员。那课文提到说 ，Sebastian Stan 从移民少年到国际巨星的旅程，跟他在荧幕上所饰演的角色一样有趣。他出生于罗马尼亚。那母亲是职业钢琴演奏家，她从小就在艺术氛围当中长大。好，单字 immigrant 这个名词表示外来的移民。那么 Matt 老师刚刚提到 emigrant 这个字则表示移出的移民，移居外国的人。下一个单字 professional， 它是形容词，形容职业的、专业的。那补充一下，我们可以用 amateur 这个字来形容业余的。amateur， 它可以形容业余的啊，业余爱好的。好，那刚刚有说跟什么什么一样有趣，我们这边要学一个句型，就是 as 形容词 as 或者是 as 副词 as 后面接主词加动词，可以表达和什么一样怎么样。那这是原级比较的句型，第一个 as 是副词，第二个 as 是连接词，后面要接子句。那么前后比较的动词如果一样的话呢，后面的动词常常会省略，或者是用助动词来代替。我们看个例句。The movie wasn't as scary as we'd expected. 那部电影没有我们原本预期的那样恐怖。那第二个例句是 Joan doesn't travel as often as her sister does, 或者是 as often as her sister. Joan 不像她姐姐一样常去旅行。那么接回到课文中。
Following Romania's 1989 revolution, he moved to Vienna at age 8 and then to New York at 12. At first, fitting into American life was difficult. Okay, so he moved first after Romania's revolution. So a revolution is the overthrowing or the sudden change of a government to a completely different government. This can mean overthrowing a king or a ruler or a president, just someone leading a country. We can also sometimes use this term revolution for a sudden and great change in something. So if there's like a fashion revolution, maybe there's a new style that everyone's wearing and there's been a massive change or very large change in what people are wearing. We have an example sentence. The revolution changed the country forever.
Okay, so Stan has already kind of moved around a lot. There was a big kind of change in Romania and he had to leave and he went to Vienna and now he's in New York and he's only 12 years old. That's a lot of change, especially changing countries and cultures and all of that in a very short time. And so it says in the next part that Stan even considered changing his name to sound more American because he's kind of feeling like it's hard to fit in New York. He's not really sure how to get into the American culture. So he even thinks, oh, maybe Sebastian doesn't sound American enough. Maybe I should change my name. But it says, however, looking back, he says these experiences helped shape his resilience and drive. So he ended up not changing his name. And even though it was kind of difficult when he was young, this kind of led to how he is now as a person. And he kind of says that his resilience comes from that tougher background when he was younger. And if you are resilient, this word resilience is the noun. If you are resilient, you are able to get through or overcome hardships. So if somebody has a lot of resilience, they are tough, they are strong, whatever might come towards them, they can kind of handle and they can get through. So it literally means to be able to handle these kind of tougher things. So if you are tough, then you have a lot of resilience.
1989年罗马尼亚革命后 ，Sebastian Stan 在8岁时搬到了维也纳，那么12岁时又搬到了纽约。起初要融入美国生活很困难，他甚至还考虑要改名字，让自己听起来更像美国人。不过当他回头看这段过去，这些经历反而帮忙塑造了他的坚韧跟动力。好，单字 revolution 这个名词表示革命、重大变革。Matt 老师在提到巨大改变时，他用到形容词 massive，massive 可以形容巨大的或是大规模的、大量的。下一个单字 resilience， 它是名词，表示韧性或是复原能力、适应力。好，这句话课文中。
Alright, so we've learned a bit about Sebastian Stan's earlier life and how, he had to go through these tough things like fleeing revolution and moving to multiple countries before the age of 12. So it sounds like that really helped to make him who he is today, and it's very interesting to hear his story. But we're going to have more of his story when we come back after this break.
By high school, he had discovered a passion for acting, and through participation in school plays, he finally found his calling. Stan began his professional acting career with small roles in TV shows like Law and Order, and films such as The Covenant, 2006. His big break came in 2011 when he signed for a 9-film stretch as Bucky Barnes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. This role brought him global fame as the Winter Soldier, a troubled sidekick to Captain America, who has since appeared in multiple MCU films and a Disney Plus show. As Bucky, Stan quickly took his place as a Marvel fan favorite.
Okay, so we are back and we are still looking at Sebastian Stan. We've got a little bit of a background about his childhood, and now he's in New York. Again, he had to leave Romania where he was born, moved to Vienna, and now he's in New York at 12. And things are kind of like, a lot of changes for a young kid. So he kind of wants to try to find where does he fit in the world, which I think we see in the next part.
That's right. By high school, he had discovered a passion for acting, and through participation in school plays, he finally found his calling. Okay, so through participation in school plays, participation is a noun, and it means the act of taking part in something or of joining something and being a part of it. So when he's participating in school plays, he is a part of the play. He's likely acting as one of the characters on stage in front of the people, and that's how he discovered that he likes it. So we have an example sentence. His participation helped their team win.
Yes, and then we also had this word calling. So this is calling as a noun. Again, you might have heard, you probably have heard this word of just like, hey, I need to call somebody. But that's not what we're talking about here. Calling as a noun, it means like this desire to go and after a certain job. So you discovered that you really like acting, and so now you figured out this is my calling. I was meant to be an actor, and I'm going to do everything I can to pursue that calling. So again, you could have a calling to all kinds of different types of jobs. Some people, when they're very young, decide, I want to be a doctor. Like, I feel strongly that I am supposed to be a doctor, and so that is my calling. That is the thing that I want to do in my life, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make that a reality. And so now we've got Stan, and he is very interested in acting, and it says, Stan began his professional acting career with small roles in TV shows like Law and Order and films such as The Covenant in 2006.
Sebastian Stan 在高中的时候发现自己热爱表演，那透过参与学校的戏剧演出，最终找到了自己的天职。他的职业演艺生涯是从一些电视剧、电影的小角色开始的。好，单字 participation 它是名词，表示参加、参与，那么后面常常会接 in 再加名词。而文中用到 calling 在这边跟打电话没关系哦，它是指天职、职业，通常就是指那种强烈啊，或者是具有使命感的事业方向。好，那这话课文中。
His big break came in 2011 when he signed for a 9-film stretch as Bucky Barnes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU.
Okay, so now I see what you had said before when it was like, oh, he was in a Marvel movie. And you're like, no, he was in lots of Marvel movies. So if you're signing on for a 9-film stretch, that means that you signed one contract that says you get to be in 9 movies. That would be huge as a professional actor. That means job security for quite a long time.
And also you're going to be in Marvel movies, so those get watched by a lot of people, so a lot of people are going to see you and know you after doing that.
Yes, and so as we continue on, it says, this role brought him global fame as the Winter Soldier, a troubled sidekick to Captain America, who has since appeared in multiple MCU films and a Disney Plus show. As Bucky, Stan quickly took his place as a Marvel fan favorite. Okay, so he is in a lot of movies. It's turned into TV shows. It's been great. A lot of people love him. Sounds like the dream if you are an actor.
That's right. So he got this start as Captain America's sidekick. So a sidekick is a close friend or associate of another person who is usually someone who has more power or authority than that person. They're not equals completely. The sidekick is usually a bit less important. Another famous superhero sidekick team you might think of is Batman and Robin, where Batman is always sort of the boss of the two and Robin is the sidekick or the less important character.
Yes, and then we also had this word multiple. If you attach this word to something, you just mean that there are many of that thing. So here we had multiple MCU films. So there are many, or has lots of parts or lots of different ones, things like that. For example, it says problems usually have multiple solutions. Maybe not math problems, because those usually only have one solution. But if you had a problem about something in life, there could be lots of different answers to that problem that you might need to think about.
Sebastian Stan 的重大突破是在2011年，当时签约出演漫威电影宇宙，在9部电影里面饰演巴奇巴恩斯这个角色，让他以酷寒战士享誉全球。那酷寒战士是美国队长的一名内心饱受折磨的助手。之后呢，也有在多部的漫威电影和 Disney Plus 影集当中亮相。好，单字 sidekick 这个名词就表示助手、伙伴。Multiple 则是形容多个的或是多重的，而课文最后提到 Sebastian Stan 饰演巴奇这个角色，迅速成为漫威迷最爱的角色之一，确立他的地位。那我们这边有一个重点是 take one's place 的不同意思。第一个，它可以指确立地位，那么 take one's place as 加名词，就是表达确立了自己作为什么什么的地位。例如 ，The player has taken his place as one of the all-time greats in basketball history。那位球员确立了自己作为篮球史上最伟大人物之一的地位。好，那么第二个，我们可以用这个用法来表达取代某人或是代替某人，用来指占据某人的角色或是位置。它可以是永久的或是临时的。举例来说 ，Amanda couldn't attend the meeting, so her assistant took her place。Amanda 无法出席会议，因此她的助理代替她出席。好，接回课文中。
All right, so up to this point, we've learned that Sebastian Stan has had his major big break in Hollywood with the Marvel movies. So he's already become a huge star, but I guess there's still more for him to come in his career as his career continues today. So we're going to find out more about his more recent career when we come back for part 2 next time.
From coastal Constanza to Hollywood's heights, Sebastian Stan's journey from immigrant teen to international star is as interesting as the characters he brings to life on screen. Stan was born on August 13, 1982 in Constanța, Romania, and he grew up surrounded by the arts thanks to his mother, a professional piano player. Following Romania's 1989 revolution, he moved to Vienna at age 8 and then to New York at 12. At first, fitting into American life was difficult. Stan even considered changing his name to sound more American. However, looking back, he says these experiences helped shape his resilience and drive. By high school, he had discovered a passion for acting, and through participation in school plays, he finally found his calling. Stan began his professional acting career with small roles in TV shows like Law & Order, and films such as The Covenant, 2006. His big break came in 2011 when he signed for a 9-film stretch as Bucky Barnes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. This role brought him global fame as the Winter Soldier, a troubled sidekick to Captain America, who has since appeared in multiple MCU films and a Disney Plus show. As Bucky, Stan quickly took his place as a Marvel fan favorite.
最后，我们来复习今天课文里的单字文法。单字的部分有 immigrant 名词，表示外来的移民 ；professional 是形容职业的、专业的 ；revolution 名词，表示革命、重大变革 ；participation 名词，表示参加、参与。Multiple 则是形容多个的、多重的。文法的部分，我们第一个学到了 as 形容词 as 或是 as 副词 as 后面加主词加动词，可以表达和什么一样怎么样。那么前后比较的动词相同的话，后面的动词常常省略或用助动词代替。那第二个我们学到 take one's place 的不同意思。那第一个它可以表达确立地位，第二个可以表达取代某人、代替某人。好，那以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
My feed is so positive today. Everyone's posting opinions about this movie that I agree with.
It looks like you're living in an echo chamber.
Echo chamber? But I don't hear any echoes. Echoes?
No, Shane. It's just an expression. It just means that you're only hearing what you want to hear. It's like you're living in a space where everyone supports your ideas and everyone agrees with you.
Oh, I got it now. But it feels good to be surrounded by people who understand me.
Well, I guess it does, but isn't it also nice to hear perspectives from different people so your views are not limited?
That makes sense. Maybe I should start following people that have different views from mine. Hi everyone! Today we're going to explain what an echo chamber is.
That's right. An echo chamber is when people are only exposed to opinions that align with their own beliefs, especially on social media.
It's like being in a room where every time you shout, the echo repeats the same message. That's why it's called an echo chamber.
Social media algorithms often reinforce this by showing you content you already agree with, which traps you in an echo chamber.
Right, and it's not just on social media. It can also happen at work or in friend groups where everyone shares the same opinions.
You can use the term like this: the forum turned into an echo chamber where everyone simply agreed with each other.
Or living in an echo chamber can limit your view on important issues.
Exactly. That's why it's important to step out of the echo chamber to understand different perspectives and form well-rounded opinions.
And that's all for today. See you next time.
See you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.